All right, we are live. Well, Facebook friends, Facebook community, trust everyone's having an amazing day. If you're actually joining a Facebook Live, one of my Facebook Lives for the very first time, if you could do me a huge favor, maybe in the comment, just type a one in the comment so we can acknowledge you for being here. Or maybe even, if you're comfortable, type in your name and the city you're from, so we can also say thank you for being here as well. And I have a very special guest this afternoon. This individual, I have a lot of respect for, because when you look at, in my opinion, what's happening in the Toronto real estate market right now, some people are saying the market's peaked, it's overpriced, and so on. But at the end of the day, all of us have to have a roof over our head. Would you agree with that? And so whether we live in a tent or we live in a house, we either have to rent or we have to own. And so knowing your numbers is so important. And she has an amazing background in accounting, loves numbers, and family is really important for her as well. So not just making money, but most importantly, she likes to help people. And I can't think of a better industry for her to do that in than Lavina being a professional mortgage agent or mortgage broker. So please help me to welcome my guest, Lavina. Lavina, how are you doing?
Thank you so much, Gordon. That was really nice. Thank you. It's a pleasure to be here.
Well, thank you so much for being here. Lavina, what I'm going to do is I'm going to go on my iPhone for a minute while we're setting up. So again, for the folks who are watching, if you guys could do us a favor, maybe just tag and share a few of your friends, because what I'm going to do right now is just share it with a couple of my friends as well. But in the meantime, Lavina, would you mind sharing with the folks who are watching? Welcome, Mr. Lester Bailey from Phoenix, Arizona. There you go, Phoenix, Arizona. Lavina, maybe share with the folks, what did you do? What was your profession prior to getting into the mortgage business?
Yeah, I was in the accounting industry. I was in the accounting field. I did accounting for small businesses for over 20 years. I was in the accounting field, and I like
20 years. Come on.
Yeah.
You don't even look 20. What are you talking about?
Thank you. Yeah, so I love, like you said, I love numbers, and whenever the books didn't tally, I would actually get excited because I felt like a detective, right? Okay. And I loved numbers. I love working with numbers, and the thing was that after some I wanted to, my desire all along, I have a heart for helping people, like helping families. And my greatest joy that I get is when I can put a smile on someone's face.
Wow.
Right. And so although I loved what I did, and I still do love numbers, I wanted something more.
Yes.
Right. And I watched one of your recent Facebook lives where you talked about the accidental millionaire.
Oh yes.
And exactly,
accidental real estate millionaire.
Yes. And I say I'm the accidental mortgage broker.
I like that. Let's have a conversation about that.
Sure.
Let's get another time. When we Lavina helped Roy write this book.
Okay.
It was really amazing how we eventually realize, hey, he accidentally got into the real estate business,
right,
and became a millionaire investor and a millionaire real estate agent. So
that's amazing.
Your concept of being an accidental mortgage millionaire, I love that. Maybe we could help you write that book.
That'd be great. Yeah. So like I said, all my desire was I wanted to do something that I would make a positive contribution to people's lives, to families, because growing up as in a home. My mom was a single mom because my dad passed away when I was 10. At a very young age, I realized how important it is for people to have a control over their finances, knowledge of, how their finances worked. And because my mom had to single-handedly raise three girls,
Wow.
and
I
growing up in.
resolve, right?
Exactly, exactly. So it was, so I realized at a very young age, I realized the importance of, managing your finances and those type of things. And I always loved, even when my kids were younger, I loved volunteering in my community, in their schools and all that stuff. And like I said, I was happy with what I did and I wanted something more. And so to be honest, I never, like I said, I never ever, the accidental mortgage brokers, because I never ever thought that I would, get into the mortgage industry, because until I got my mortgage license, my own involvement with my mortgages, go to the bank, sign on the dotted line and leave.
Exactly. Yes.
Right. And I thought, because, of my ethnic background, that's the reason why I felt that way.
Right.
But after I got my mortgage license, and I've been, coming across clients, and I've realized across the board, women, for some reason, we have this mindset is that I will not understand it. Right.
Right.
And so that is part of also what I do is and when I used to go into the bank, and I mean, like, don't get me wrong, I'm not, saying anything against the bank, because as a mortgage broker, I have access. Deal with
To
banks as
every
well.
bank, right?
Yes, it's
Yes.
yeah. So what used to happen was, they used to, focus on my husband, talk to him and do the negotiations with him. But when I meet with my clients, I make sure that, I speak to both
To both of them.
parties,
So let me
right?
ask you this: Why is that? So I'm going to back it up for a minute. So you're saying in the past you go into the bank and whoever it is that's talking to you, the bank manager, the financial advisor, they're ignoring you and they're talking to the husband.
Yeah, that's a very, very good question, because I mean, like, I tend
Like,
to
don't they
not.
know? Don't they know, Lavina, who makes the decisions in the household? Like I tell people, I ask my wife to boil the water so I can wash the floors,
Okay.
right? But all
That,
kidding aside, right? Like, how does that make? How did it make you feel when the bank did that to you?
yeah, I mean, like, I felt that, I wasn't maybe smart enough. And the thing is, because, like, uh, me being having an accounting background, knowing
Yes,
numbers, I still felt that, what, maybe I didn't even take interest in it, because of the mind block that, what, I will not understand it.
right.
Right. And but when I'm dealing with clients, I've found that across the board, that, for some reason, for the most part, women have this mindset that, what, I don't understand it.
I don't
And
understand.
that's part of what I enjoy, is when I see the light bulb go off and go, oh, I can do that.
Right.
Oh, and that gives me so much of, happiness, right? And I get excited that, and
Yes.
that I get this opportunity to educate my clients and to help
Yes.
them. And, like, as we know, finances is, a big, big part of what we do, and it's a very personal experience for us, for anyone, for that matter, right? Because it's a very, very even sensitive topic.
Yeah. I mean, it's so important to know your numbers you were sharing with me, before we got on here live. And sometimes, often you'll have, especially in the past, maybe not as much now, but you have the husband who was always the breadwinner, who made a lot of the financial decisions. That's not so anymore, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, and at the same time, there are, we've seen widows who are left with a house, a mortgage, and they really don't know what to do.
Yeah. And that's part of, what I love about what I do is because I've had so many, women in a similar situation in my office in
I,
tears because, because they've been with the financial institution for years and years and years,
yes,
and because the situation has changed, their institution just declines them, right? And they
that's
are feel
amazing.
that they have no hope,
Yes,
right? And when I can, as a mortgage broker, because as you know, we have access
yeah,
to bandwidth of lenders, and if I can, when I've been able to tell them, what, I can help you, and this is how we can do it.
wow,
There's so much of hope,
yes,
and to give them basically they get a second chance. And one of my clients actually, the very first time we connected, she said, Lavinia, you know what, I have no hope because this is what my bank told me. I have no hope.
yeah,
Only reason I'm coming to
right,
you is because this lady told me to come to you,
yeah,
right? And thankfully I was able to help her. And she literally was in tears, and she goes, oh my gosh, can I give you a hug?
wow, that's amazing, right? Can they?
Yeah.
How does it make you feel, right? When they're
Oh
like,
my gosh,
thank you,
it
thank you.
really makes, it, I had tears in my eyes when she
Yeah,
told me that as
that's
well.
amazing. So you can now be a champion for other women,
Yeah.
something that you discovered for yourself, and then how
Yes.
you can help them to understand their numbers as well. I'm going to just back this up for a minute. You mentioned that someone goes to the bank. I, let's not use any names. We'll just say their initials are TD. I'll just use that as an example. So somebody goes directly to TD
Yeah.
and they don't get approved. But somehow there are times I know when they come to you as a mortgage professional mortgage broker, you actually end up getting them a mortgage, and sometimes even at a better rate, not necessarily at the TD branch that they would tend down at, but you end up getting them a mortgage through TD, but even a better rate. How does that happen?
Yeah, because as mortgage brokers, we have, access to, multiple lenders, a bandwidth of lenders, right?
Mhm.
So, some of our, because unfortunately, banks qualify if you don't fit in their, requirements, right? They don't have other options for you, right? But as a mortgage broker, we have options, and that's a, an advantage of working with a mortgage broker, is
Yeah.
because there's choice. It's like,
Mhm.
when you go to a restaurant, you have a choice of the a la carte, or you have a choice of the
Right.
buffet, right? So coming to a mortgage broker is like coming to a buffet, because we and
Okay, I love buffets.
we used to go to this restaurant, and my kids loved, we used to go and we used to have buffets, and that's, we love buffets as well.
Yes,
Yeah. And so what happens is, we can, as mortgage brokers, we can meet the client at their point of need,
got it. That's
right?
amazing.
Yeah.
And so
So
how do you get paid? As a mortgage, do they pay you as a mortgage broker to
actually,
go get
that's such an excellent question, Gordon, because a lot of my clients, when I told them, what, the first thing they ask me is, okay, so what are your charges? I'm like, no, my services are free to you. I get paid by the lender. They go, what? You mean you do all this work for, and I don't owe you anything? I'm like, no, you don't,
yes,
right? And so we get paid by the lenders.
that's amazing. So you can help a client get a better mortgage, get a better rate, and then the lender pays you, and the
Yes,
client gets the service for free.
service for free, exactly.
That's amazing. Davina, this is something you would appreciate. I'm not in the mortgage industry anymore, but I remember when I used to be as a broker versus working for a bank, and you do this every day. I was able to take a home trust deal and actually get it approved at a Royal Bank.
Yeah. You know what? It's so, I mean, that's part of what we do, right? Because I have a client right now who I'm working with. They were with a lender like Home Trust,
Yes.
right? And they came to me a few years ago, and so at that time their credit was not the greatest, and uh, and so I worked with them over the past few years,
Yes.
constantly, like, keeping in touch with them, showing them, educating them what they can do, what they should do. And fortunately, they worked, in the sense they did what they had to do.
Yes.
And right now I'm moving them from a home trust to a bank, and they are saving almost around $1,200 per month.
Wow. $1,200 a month.
A month, yeah.
That's
So
amazing. That's like about, if you're in the highest tax bracket, that's like 2 grand a month. You got to
yeah,
make 2 grand a month just to,
yeah. So that's
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 amazing.
one of the benefits of working, with a mortgage broker. And right, so as we tell our clients, right, it's not all about the rate,
Right.
right? The rate is one part of it,
One
because
part. Okay.
definitely all of us want, we want the best rate, because we want that
Yeah.
translates into the dollar figure, and we want to pay, we want to save as much as we can, right?
Yeah.
So, but working with a mortgage broker, we look at the mortgage is our business, right? And because the thing is, like, even when you go to the bank, right? Uh, if the employees at the bank have to wear different hats, as you know,
Right.
right? And although they do the best they can, right, and they have the best intention, and they do the best they can, it's just that you're not necessarily speaking with a mortgage, a person who specializes in
Of
mortgages, for
course.
example,
I mean,
right?
they have volumes. They have to meet at the branch, and they have to sell whatever product that bank has. Uh,
Exactly.
but with you, you have, like you said, you've got this buffet, right?
Yes.
That choices you can make for you, help your clients make that's better for them.
Yeah.
Um, so if you're watching, you guys, this is my special guest, Lavina. She is a mortgage broker. If you have any questions, please type them in the comment. If you would like to reach out and have a conversation with her as well, just leave a comment, right? Or direct message me, and I'm more than happy to connect you with her. Lavina, one of the things I would like to ask is, some individuals have locked in at mortgage rates of like 3.5%, which is crazy. It's still amazing, right? When you think about it, they're at 3.5%, 3.25%. Maybe they locked in a year ago. And I hear that there are mortgage rates out there that are as low as 1.59 or something like that.
Yeah.
Is that true, or is that just like another fake news by the exiting president?
I love that. Yeah.
That was not a political statement, you guys. Strike that one off here, right?
Yeah, no, it is true. It is true that, the mortgage rates are really, really low right now. And a lot of, a lot of clients are making use of it, of these excellent, I mean, like, of these excellent rates. And like I said, I moved one of my clients, actually a couple of years ago. They bought a home for,
Yes.
it was mid threes, and now I can get him a rate for, because again, there are different rates.
Yeah.
The rates are different for purchases, and there are rates that are for
Perfect. Okay.
refinances, right?
Got it.
And yeah, so again, like, if the client qualifies, right? And the thing is, because what happens is, like, although, I mean, because the rates are so low, clients are definitely, one of the things I even talk to my clients is, we've gone through this, the COVID pandemic, and
Yeah.
all these months. A lot of people, were living from paycheck to paycheck, and
Right.
not really thinking of the future in terms of, like, an emergency fund or those type of things. So
Yes.
a lot of clients right now are even using this opportunity to even set up an emergency fund
Okay.
to see, like, in case, God forbid, should something like
Yeah.
this happen
Yeah.
again, they'll be better prepared,
I
right?
like that. What do you mean by emergency fund? So how do you set up an emergency fund?
Yeah, the thing is, because like, as for normally they say the ideal, I mean, like they recommend have at least about 6 months fine, expenses
Sure.
available
Yeah.
in case, of a thing. So a lot of clients, what they are doing is they are using the equity in their home, because
Right.
the equity in their home is just, money they are sitting on,
Yeah. And
right?
so many people are they're house rich,
Yeah.
but they're cash poor.
They're cash poor, exactly. And the thing is, like, if you go to borrow, even if they have about $300,000 in equity in their
Yeah.
home, if you go to borrow 300,000, you're paying like, hefty amounts of interest, whereas opposed to what you are paying for your mortgage is like 2 point, whatever, right? Or,
Yes.
and so comparatively. And the thing is, if you don't you use you pay interest on the amount of money you use,
Right.
right? And
Right.
so, but at the same time, you have access to that money
Right.
when, if and when you do need it.
So is it a line of credit? Is it a HELOC? What do you do then?
Yeah, it's a line of credit.
Yes.
And one of my clients is doing the exact same thing. He set up a line of credit because he has equity in his home. He set up
Yes.
a line of credit, but at the same time, he doesn't have to pay interest on that because he's not using it.
He's not used. They're not.
But
That's
if he
amazing.
does require it, he has that, peace of mind that I have this money in case I need it. And as we know, like, uh, money is lent when you don't really need it, right?
Yeah, isn't it crazy? Like when you need it, when you don't need it, the bank's throwing money at you.
Yeah,
And
yeah,
when you need it, they're like, sorry.
yeah. And like, as we know, banks are, an institution that is a for-profit
Of
organization. So
course. Yeah.
it is just business, right?
Yeah.
But this is a way, like, where clients can actually have some sort of peace of mind,
Of
knowing that
course.
if God forbid, should something happen, then, so that's one of the ways that clients are making use of, this opportunity with the low interest in order
It's
to,
amazing. So you're able to help clients get a better mortgage, help them look. In some cases, you're helping clients reestablish their credit rating.
yeah.
You're like a superhero,
Thank you.
right?
Yeah, that's what is I love most about this job. I mean, what I do is that I'm getting to make a positive contribution in people's lives,
I
right?
love that. Yeah.
And that's what I think, because when I first entered the mortgage industry, like my mindset about being a mortgage broker or a mortgage agent was sales,
Yes.
right? And I spoke with my broker owner, and I told her, I said, you know what, I never in my wildest dreams thought that I would ever be in sales. And so she
Right.
goes, well, what do you mean? I said, because like, I've been approached by, any number of companies to be, but I never saw myself as a salesperson,
Right.
right? And then she
Yeah.
turned around and told me something that literally transformed my thinking. She
Right.
said, Lavinia, tell me one thing. And the reason why I did not want to go into sales is because I did not want to put my friends under any sort of pressure,
Right.
right, to buy from me, right?
Yes.
And that's my reasoning, because I don't like imposing on people or putting any amount of any sort of pressure. And that's what I
Yes.
do even in my mortgage business. I'm like, what, I tell my clients, what they can do, what they can
They can.
expect, what they think, but no pressure,
I
no
like that. So
sales,
you're
no.
educating your clients.
Yeah,
You're
I
being true to
educate
your
and they
clients.
decide. I
I love
advise,
that.
they decide,
I love
right?
that.
So then she turned around and asked me, she goes, Lavinia, tell me one thing. Will any of your friends buy or get a mortgage for which they have to buy a home just to please you? I'm like, no, it seemed like no. And then she asked me the second question. She goes, have you heard of people being put in the wrong mortgage product or
Mm.
being given the wrong advice because for the other person to kind of make a quick buck? And I'm like, yeah, I have. And she
Yes.
goes, would you do that? And I'm like, no. you know. And so she says, that's the difference. She goes, you're not in sales, you're
Yes.
in service. It's a service that you're
Service,
providing.
right. That's amazing. And Lavina, I know we talked offline, and personal development, as you mentioned, is so important, in your life. And, Napoleon Hill in his book, Think and Grow Rich, talks about rendering service. So it's not about making money, but you're not a nonprofit either. So you have to make money, but you're making money because you're rendering a service.
Right, because that's what I believe, that the amount of money that you make is, focus on providing value. So focus on serving people, solving a problem, and the money will follow.
I like that. One last question for you. With the pandemic right now, and the folks that are out there, are folks like EMS folks, even folks who are working at the grocery stores for us. Thank you for the folks that are out there working right now.
Thank you.
And the pandemic is affecting a lot of people right now. And Toronto, we just had the lockdown just started yesterday.
Yesterday,
right? Another 28 days. Business owners are being hit hard right now, especially small business owners. Are there mortgage programs available for small business owners?
Yes, definitely. And there are, lenders are also, I mean, they want to serve, businesses who have been affected. And yes, there are definitely options. And even there are definitely options. And I would love to, chat if anyone wants to find out
Amazing.
more.
So as a mortgage broker, you mentioned earlier you're able to help individuals with their residential mortgage needs. And so you're also saying that if somebody is self-employed or they're a business owner, that you can be a service to them as well.
Yes, definitely.
Well, that's amazing. Awesome. Well, we're almost at the top of the hour. I'm going to ask you a couple of selfish questions. Would that be okay?
Sure.
You are now a member of Landed for Success as well.
Yes.
Yeah. And what, from your experience, from your personal experience, first of all, who introduced you to Landed for Success?
Samantha Glass, actually. And
okay.
Yeah. I love you for introducing me, Samantha.
Yeah. And Samantha is a paralegal.
Yes.
Right. And she's also one of our executive team leaders at Landed for Success. So what you became a lifetime member at Landed for Success. What's what I'm looking for? What was the experience that you had that helped you make a decision to be part of Landed for Success?
My very first meeting, I mean, like coffee chat with Samantha, it's just her whole, I loved her energy, and we connected on the topic of, like, she's big into personal development as well. And then I'm one of those people who observe before taking the plunge, kind of thing. And so I signed up for the first Landed for Success networking meeting a few months ago, and I just loved, the ladies who were conducting it.
Yes.
I loved the energy, and I love the focus that it's all about service, right? Landed for Success wants to promote, and help the other entrepreneurs to, be it whether when you do your elevator pitch, or whether, there are, like, as you had mentioned about writing the book, becoming an author, about, sharing your story. All those things really spoke to me, because I'm all about community. I love, promoting other businesses, and I love, to help out in whatever way I can. And I found that that part of Landed for Success, that you guys are really, you want to, the other businesses to do well as well, and entrepreneurs. And that's what I loved. And I think for the most part, that spoke to me. And that's when I'm like, you know what, I think this is something I would like to be involved in. And yeah.
That's amazing. And membership is like unbelievable, right? Tell the folks how much membership is.
I couldn't believe it's just $100. I mean,
$100, right?
Yeah, I was surprised when Samantha actually told me. I'm like, I actually read it for the second. I'm like, I've paid more in the past for, like, just a seminar, right?
Exactly.
And for a
Yeah.
lifetime membership to pay $100, I was like, this was a
Yeah.
no-brainer.
Yeah, and there's so many benefits, right? We won't go into here. So it's like $100 a year. Right now we have a special going on. It's $100. Like, I'm gonna call it a Black Friday sale.
Right.
$100 like one time for a lifetime membership right now. So which is pretty cool.
Yeah,
And in
that was a
fact,
steal. That was like, a no-brainer. So,
yeah. In fact, the event that you were at tonight is actually our last one for the year.
oh, okay.
Yeah, so it'll be the last virtual speed networking event of the year. If you're watching and you're at home tonight from 7 to 9 p.m. and you have a business you want to promote, reach out to Lavina or even leave a comment. And I know we're only limited to 100 tickets, so I'm not sure if there's still any more tickets left. But if you're interested in promoting your business, reach out to Lavina and we'll see if we can get you a complimentary ticket to attend tonight's virtual speed networking event.
I would highly, highly, highly recommend it. I would highly
Awesome.
recommend it.
Well, thank you. Levine, I've got, just so the folks, I'd love to bring you back. Like, next time we should maybe pick a few specific topics. And I want to thank you because I know it's last minute. We didn't have anything planned, just very casual conversation. So folks, if you're watching, I hope and Gabby's here as well. Lester, I hope you guys are enjoying the chat. We should have like maybe specific topics, like should you go short or long with a mortgage?
Fixed or variable,
Fixed
that's
or
like a
variable,
hot topic every time, and that's a very, very
right?
good.
How do you pay off your mortgage in 15 years versus 30 years?
Absolutely.
So many little things we can talk about. So before we go, I want the audience, right? It's like we're Oprah, right? No, we're just two ordinary individuals just having a conversation here. Well, I'm saying ordinary. Lavina, she is extraordinary, you guys.
No.
Right? Just so the folks who get to know you a little bit, okay? I'm going to put you on a hot seat. Okay, ready for a couple hot
Oh
seat
boy.
questions? Whatever, first answer that comes to your mind. What is your favorite color?
Red.
Red.
Yep.
Okay,
The tulips behind me.
I can see that. Yeah, my guest Terry Fallis, who wrote a book called The Best Laid Plans, he picked red as well.
Oh, okay.
So, ice cream. Do you have a favorite ice cream?
Vanilla, I think. I'm a pretty plain Jane for when it comes to.
Very nice. How about now that I know you're uh, so strong into personal development and personal growth, what is one of your favorite business books?
One thing that really, really, made an impact way, way back was the Millionaire Mindset by T.
Millionaire
Harv
Mindset.
Eker.
Yes.
That was one of the first books I read, and that totally transformed my, my thing about my mindset about money. And as I said,
Yes.
like I grew up in a single parent family,
Yeah.
because my dad passed away when I was 10. My mom had to raise 3 girls, so my thing about money was, was quite flawed. But
Great.
so reading the Millionaire Mindset was like totally transforming for me.
That's amazing. Yeah, Chief Harv Eker is
Yeah.
pretty incredible, right? What he's done.
Yeah.
I can see, Lavina, you putting together your version of the millionaire mindset for women when it comes to their real estate assets and their mortgage assets.
Wow.
Right? I can see that. If you need to have a conversation about that, I'd be happy to have that with you.
Oh,
My
thank you.
last question for you is, Lavina, if you could wave a magic wand right now, okay, and do one thing for you, not anybody else. Think about that, okay? Because I know you're constantly thinking, how do I serve my family, my daughter, my husband, my clients? Like you're constantly thinking about somebody else. So I want you to think about you for a minute. Like right now, if you could wave a magic wand right now and you could do one thing, Lavinia, what would you be? What would you do?
This actually, my daughter just moved to Ottawa a couple of months ago, right? And because she got a better job and thing. But this is selfish, but I don't mean to say anything about her job or anything, but I would,
Yeah.
if I could wave my magic wand, I'd bring her back
There
right
you
now.
go. That's the mom in you though, right?
Exactly.
Yeah, that's the mom in you. Yeah.
Yeah.
Um,
So I guess, like,
Congratulations. I have two kids, and all three of them are now married. All three of them live in different cities. So I'm like, kids, come back.
exactly.
Right? Yeah.
Yeah, so I think, yeah, that's the first thing that came to mind when you said, like, oh, okay, I can bring her back. I can see her right now,
Hey, just wave that magic wand, right? That's amazing. Well, awesome. Well, thank you so much for joining me, and the folks that are watching. Thank you for watching. If you have any questions, you want to reach out to Lavinia, leave a comment, right? Or direct message me, and I'm happy to connect you with her. And I mean, any final thoughts you would like to leave? Any final thoughts before we wrap up here?
Yeah, I would like, I think I would like to say something that my mom always says, that, every cloud has a silver lining, that no
Wow.
matter what situation you are in right now, and we are all in this
Yeah.
difficult situation. And I realize that, we are all in this together, but we
Right.
may be at different, our situations may not, like, may vary, but I would just encourage you that, have hope,
Wow.
because because my mother always used to say, as long as there's life, there's hope. So, things will get better. So
Wow. What would we do without our moms, right?
exactly.
That's incredible. So every cloud
Has
has
a silver
silver
lining.
lining.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
amazing. Well, thank you so much for that. And once again, everyone, thank you so much for joining us. Until the next time, have an amazing, amazing day.
Thank